Dude, the seas are mean. They're a savage place. I love that. Oh my god, that's so cool. That is the picture of somebody having a horrible time. Hey everybody, today we're reacting to Casual Geographic's Gang Wars with whales. I had to see this because it looks amazing. What is going on here? Oh! Holy... Dude, that guy got hit by a truck! Oh, girl, you in the wrong neighborhood. What you doing here? Took a wrong turn.
The ocean is the world's oldest hood, so makes sense that the gang wars of the animals in it are titanic. There's Avengers levels of conflict happening under the waves, and in the center of it all...
Oh, this is gonna be good.
The orca's range is everywhere. Its diet is everything. Their breeding season is a day that ends in Y. They hunt whenever and no one ever hunts them. Orcinus orca is really that guy. It's an apex evolutionary attack dolphin, known to give great white sharks PTSD, and scare the literal
I never really thought they were that hardcore, but here we are.
Figurative feces out of the biggest predator alive. We'll get to that. The cetaceous sea panda is an
poor little guy
check with a street name. Killer whale, a name they got after ancient whalers watched what a barcoded armada could do to a barnacle bus stop. With the size, intelligence, and power of friendship, the whale killer might just be nature's favorite, and there's
do they hunt in groups too?
Virtually nothing on the ocean census that can't get orked. But all that dominance has a cost, like an ocean.
When you say orked, it makes me think, makes me think something else.
Have made a lot of enemies, and there's at least two that'll bully them back.
The orcs of the sea.
It all comes back to the often forgotten rule of nature. A predator has to be convinced you're worth the effort, but prey will turn you into past tense before you go offense. The world of whale beef is messy, with alliances, rivalries, and straight mob mentality. Because for every orca, there's a pack of pilot whales. This is what orcas see in their nightmares, allegedly. Let's talk about it.
They look so stubby.
Is a whale, but not every whale is a dolphin, and pilot whales are a very big dolphin.
Whoa, look at that group swimming together.
Every dolphin.
Look at all the different... Is that two different types? I think that's one type of whale, just different size, and dolphins. That's so interesting. You know, I never really thought about, like, how all of these larger sea mammals interact with each other. Very interesting.
But not every whale is a dolphin, and pilot whales are a very big dolphin. They're the second biggest dolphin, only beat by the ocean equalizer. Pilot whales look like off-brand belugas, and that's pretty close to their personality.
He looks so happy.
Pilot whales have been called the Ferraris of the sea, being clocked at over 30 miles per hour while hunting, and they'll use the speed to run up on pods of orcas.
And water, that's
and the
crazy.
Fact that pilots can roll in pods that get to over 100 is why killer whales may have a healthy amount of fear in a deep fake dolphin.
Pods over 100?
Dolphin. Scientists in Iceland have seen orcas go from socializing to dead silent to suddenly synchronizing a retreat before a group of pilot whales pulled up.
They're just like hanging out. Like, yeah, man, how, you know, what are you doing? You know, whatever. Oh shit. Gotta go.
The orcas were literally run out by the pilots, with both parties porpoising during the chase. And we know for a fact pilot whales actively look.
Porpoising, moving through water by alternatively rising above and submerging.
For problems, since scientists in Norway...
Oh god, he's right there.
...played the sounds of
it's on my shoulder.
And that got their boat confronted by the pilot.
he's whispering animal facts into my ear.
It's even escalated to pilot whales imitating the calls of killer whales. And considering killer whales in different areas can have different dialects, pilot whales learn to lampoon the exact kind of orca.
No way, they have different languages?
In their neighborhood. Some say it's a form of ocean incognito, where they use sound to camouflage. But there's a world
that's
where
crazy.
Pilots got so sick of the gimmicks, they learned the language just to talk that cetacean shit. But it's not one-sided.
No way.
Pack up and prey on pilot whales. There's also been
they like talking? Using like sonar to talk trash.
More than one case of a group of orcas traveling with an orphan baby pilot whale, adopting it either as progeny or a practice dummy. My theory is that the trauma of losing a baby drives a mother orca to do the next best thing. Kidnap an infant pilot whale and try to brute force parenthood.
It's so
a
messed up.
That still has a lot of questions, and this story might just have another chapter.
That'd be a good movie.
What are the odds the orca's two biggest enemies are friends? Humpbacks prove you can always be a bigger hater, and there's no bigger hater than the one that interferes with orca hunts. even when the target isn't another humpback. In 5 decades of studying humpback orca spats, in only 11% of them did the killer whales actually go after them. The other 89 involved orcas plotting on a completely different animal and the humpbacks getting involved to play defense. In fact, in over 100 encounters, the humpbacks approached the orcas 37% of the time, and the orcas were the instigators 26%, meaning when scientists could tell who wanted smoke 58% of the time, the humpback mafia started it. Why?
Interesting. Is this the whale that like helps? I'm pretty sure there's one that like defends seals and stuff.
Well, maybe
which is super wholesome.
Whales. Pilot whales and humpbacks have been seen socializing off Hawaii, with humpbacks even seeming to pet the pilots with their fins.
I love that.
With each other.
Oh my god.
Different species.
That's so
it's
cool.
Not an accident. About 200 instances of whales and dolphins interacting were
Dude, do I love whales now? Time to sub the Shy Lily, guys. Although, wait, isn't she an orca? Oh, she's the bad one. Oh no. Oh no.
19 different species, and what was found was that not only were a third of all humpback encounters classified as positive, with the whales seeming to seek out the dolphins, humpbacks were way more dolphin tolerant than others like the blue, fin, and northern white whales. And let's not just slide past the interspecies communication. That is wild, and who knows what they're saying. They could be plotting the most devious hit on an orca.
There's that is so interesting. Look at that crew.
That's a joke. One, because I don't believe they have their version of a white, pointy-robed pep rally to plot against an apex predator. But also, two, humpbacks aren't exactly immune to
Look at that smile.
Whale. According to the Latin American Journal of Aquatic Mammals, pilot whales often rage bait humpbacks, with short-fin pilot whales seen antagonizing the humpback variety off Puerto Rico, harassment that the whales were visibly stressed by. One sighting saw a gang of pilots approach a pod of humpback whales, with the humpbacks reacting by trumpeting and tail slapping. Basically, a cetacean
Go away.
One theory says the pilot whale is a kleptoparasite, whose meal prep involves harassing a humpback into stress regurgitating its last meal. So
oh my god!
For the steal, mind you,
that's so messed up. That was my strategy in high school, actually. Harass the bully until they throw up from it. You know what? Let's move on.
In Puerto Rico probably haven't eaten since they were in the Arctic, so it's like picking a fight with a Muslim dead in the middle of Ramadan. In the Mona Passage off Puerto Rico,
so
a bunch
weird.
of pilot whales pulled up to harass a humpback pod until the humpbacks.
Poor humpbacks got that anxiety though, apparently.
Resurfaced a distance away until the pilots peeped them and went over to choose.
There's so many.
Again. This cycle continued like a game until the humpbacks eventually left the area, and chances are a game is exactly what was happening. Some genuinely believe that pilot whales mess with other whales for fun, not for food, simply love of the game.
That's amazing. Oh god, that's so horrible. They're the internet trolls of the sea. I feel like this reminds me of like crow behavior, how they'll like mess with cats because they know they can't really take a cat, but they'll like just harass and annoy them until they like leave the area.
Just being dicks. And humpbacks are the whales that tolerate them, but what they don't accept is anything orca. In 2012,
it's interesting, yeah, because they let them like swim and hang out, so it really depends. Maybe it's just kind of like a banter, you know? It's just like, these freaking guys, back again. And he's like, hey man, this is messing me. You're like, you know, maybe they got like a thing. Maybe it's like a back and forth.
Murked a gray whale calf, but the plot twist was the 14 humpbacks that rushed in to back up the 2 already on scene. And what scientists saw was the humpbacks gatekeeping the killer whales, with one even putting himself next to the past tense calf and wailing out anytime an orca got close. For 6.5 hours, the humpback hood calorie blocked the orcas, even ignoring an enticing swarm of nearby krill to remain to float on business. You see, orcas don't go after humpbacks often, but when they do, it's usually targeting a calf with its mother, which usually involves separating them and reverse baptizing the baby. The thing is, adult humpbacks are much less fearful of a monochrome mammal and are triggered by the sounds of an orca hunt and will come swimming, especially
interesting.
Since any young humpback in the area are likely a relative of their own.
So it's like an automatic reaction.
On sound with orcas, even if the target ends up being a Pacific placemat, because the lesson every humpback learns is, no orca alive shall prosper. And that's on pod. Mind you, not all killer whales
that's on pod. That's amazing. But so, I mean, that makes sense if they're like super hostile, right? That like they would have such a natural reaction.
Whale killers. Only about 10 to 15% of them are mammal-eating killer whales, meaning humpbacks might just be profiling. They see color, 2 in particular. But if humpbacks could see everything killer whales do, they probably let them slide a lot more. Humpbacks have more than a zebra to stress about. In 2017 in Mossel Bay, South Africa, scientists watched an injured whale get jumped by 8 great white sharks. It's
Damn.
not often, but great whites will pack up the young, sick, or injured, especially during migration. It's rare, but
yeah, if they're pretty hungry, maybe they just grab a bite. You know, you don't even need to win, just like,
chances aren't zero. Unless an orca's around. That wasn't a joke earlier. Orcas legitimately give Jaws PTSD, and it's scientifically proven that great whites will abandon even favorite hunting grounds for up to a year.
They're scared.
If they even sense a giant oppression dolphin once. In
He's
fact,
tweaking. Wow. Like, I don't know if that was like a correct clip or not, but he looked freaked out. Damn. If you can make a great white, like a serious shark, like freaking out for their lives, man, I didn't realize how serious orca were, man. I gotta see this one again. This could blows my mind.
The young, sick, or injured, especially during migration. It's rare, but the chances aren't zero.
Boom!
Unless an orca's around.
Crazy.
That wasn't a joke earlier. Orcas legitimately give Jaws PTSD.
Meat torpedo.
Proven that great whites will abandon even
also my
favorite
street
hunting
name.
grounds for up to a year if they even sense a giant oppression dolphin once. In fact, the number of great whites has flatlined in many places off South Africa, like False Bay, so low that it's legitimately affecting tourism. And one of the biggest non-human reasons might be orcas.
They're like, nah, we're out of here.
Since 2015, Port and Starboard have been raining hell on the whites, with many late great shark carcasses washing ashore with missing livers, including a 16-foot female named Khaleesi. These two orcas and arms have terrorized sharks of any species. In 2023, the duo life-deprived nearly 27 gill sharks in one day, and Starboard might be the biggest menace. Fun fact, Starboard is the first...
Holy shit. They're just like offing everything. Do they even eating just the liver? So they don't even eat the rest. They're just like, give me the good bits. And they're just killing everything in sight. That's crazy. Holy.
orca ever recorded murking a great white shark by himself after eviscerating one in less than 2 minutes completely solo.
Damn!
And Starboard are named after how they tend to split the sharks they kill, left and right. That's not true, it's based on their fins. But for about a decade, these two have been violating sharks without remorse. Recourse as a final course before soul divorce, not to beat a dead horse, but killer whales ironically
dude, these guys are like
solid. As a South African rest stop of their migration now has...
These guys are like legends. They remind me of like like villains in a game or like in a fantasy story, you know what I mean? Where it's like the name of them just like sends terror. They have like this reputation. Jesus.
Way less sharks.
Now that's a movie.
That sharks tend to get their cookies taken by orcas, but great whites can also get sent packing by their own prey. It's well known that a sea lion to a shark is basically a chew toy, with one fur seal having no chance against a 16-foot, 2,000-plus-pound bioweapon. But this movie has an alternate ending, with gangs of fur seals mobbing hunting sharks. Imagine getting chased out of a drive-thru by a horde of homicidal hot dogs. That's this shark's reality. It's the same mob mentality humpbacks use on orcas, and fur seals will press a great white into retreating back to sea. This weaponized friendship has been clocked all the way back to 2005, with a group of adult male Australian fur seals jumping a great white shark that wandered too close to the colony's pups. But orcas might have just lit a fuse under the fur seals. The decline of great whites in places like False Bay may have honestly boosted the confidence of the seals. Not only do they now act way bolder, studies...
Yeah, if there's less sharks, their population would increase, in theory, unless the orcas were munching them.
Showed that the stress hormone levels of fur seals in False Bay went down as the shark numbers did. Orcas might take...
That's so funny. They're just... Life is chill now. They're like, thank you, orca bros. Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
The seal out the sea and leave it with an L, but they might have also emboldened the shark numbers did. Orcas might take the seal out the sea and leave it with an L, but they might have also emboldened the fur seals against their biggest
They're just like... What? No, they're just messing with them now. They're just messing with them. Holy... Dude, the seas are mean. They're a savage place.
Holy. If you realize how horrific a family of fur seals open carrying confidence can be. Although they likely
I wonder if they're acting with
apparently seals
people
can't
more
get along with each other. In many places, elephant and fur seals cross paths, and they do not get along. They're both pinnipeds, but technically fur seals aren't true seals. They're actually closer to sea lions.
The way he says that makes me think there's like this sort of like, you ain't real seals element to this. You know what I mean? That they have like human-like Judgment.
lions. Elephant CEOs see all that and choose to be the world's biggest bigots about it, since some have
No.
a bad habit of using baby fur seals as chew toys. Buffalo is a
That's
14-foot
unfortunate.
migrant that annually shows up on Cape Town beaches, where he has a yearly tradition of
Hey.
using young false seals as stress balls for his mouth. One elephant seal was caught grabbing a pup, making a disturbingly literal baby shower before swallowing it whole. Clearly, fur seals have
Damn.
way more to worry about than just sharks, but sharks might not have a bigger enemy than dolphins. Dolphins don't exactly bully sharks. A study done in Shark Bay, Australia found that 74% of bottlenose dolphins were found with at least one scar from a shark attack. And
Wow,
more
that's
than
a
third
lot.
of those in Sarasota Bay have had a chunk or two taken out of them. So the catch is, while dolphins are a small part of a shark's diet, almost every dolphin will have at least one bad memory of a shark. The dolphin default is actually to avoid sharks, so not exactly like pilot whales to orcas, but they will gang up on them when they have the advantage. Usually, it's just for intimidation, but sometimes it involves dolphins ramming sharks in the gills so they choke on their own blood. So basically,
It's such a messed up thing to laugh at, but just the picture is so funny to me. Oh fuck! Like that's that is the picture of somebody having a horrible time. I was wondering how they would fight back because they don't exactly have like the craziest bite, from what I understand, right? So I guess yeah, they just noodle blast them right in the gills.
it involves dolphins ramming sharks in the gills so they choke on their own blood. So basically, sharks prey on dolphins and leave dolphins preying, with dolphins usually social distancing from them. But dolphins will also mob sharks, and in a lot of studies, dolphins were the ones initiating harassment, like in the form of using a baby shark as a volleyball. But it also helps that they have an alliance with another member of the cetacean persuasion,
they would hate them.
one that sends sharks swimming. Or at least it would,
Orcas?
if it wasn't a false killer whale. That is called a false killer whale, which sucks because it's way more than an imitation orca. Not to be confused with the pilot whale, because where the pilot whale looks like a black rough draft beluga, the not an orca looks like a free willy paralysis demon. On the surface, that is Satan's favorite cetacean creation, slender whale.
That looks almost like alien-like.
Looking like the black air force of orcas, and those eyes, good God, those eyes. Those are the eyes of an ocean chain chomp that shouldn't be trusted. And that's why you don't judge a whale.
Are these guys serious?
False killer whales will often form relationships.
They look almost alien compared to the other ones for some reason. I'm not sure why. I guess they kind of look like aliens from the Alien movie.
Other dolphins,
a little
especially bottlenoses. These bonds can last years and cover hundreds of ocean miles, especially in New Zealand, where falsies will actively seek out dolphins, not just to hunt together, but to play too. And scientists swear that individuals can recognize each other even after years of separation. In fact, false killer whales and dolphins will often merge pods to form a giant superpod, up to 1,000 strong.
That's insane.
Stories of falsies responding to the distress calls of other species, and even aiding other dolphins during childbirth. As close as you think pseudo-orcas and bottlenoses are, they're closer. How close? Well, when a male falsie and a female bottleface get close enough, the outcome is called a wolfin. It's also not just dolphins. Anyone who dives enough will confirm that false killer whales are one of the friendliest things you can run into in the ocean.
Oh, that is not what I expected.
Stories of them offering fish to strangers. But of course, the world of whale politics is messy, and falsies don't have goodwill with everyone. They're also liable to get T-boned by an orca, who sometimes show them what a real killer looks like. And if you think that make them a friend to humpback whales, falsies have also been known to harass humpback whales, with one case in Hawaii where our group murked one. But there's another animal they find conflict with, and you'd probably never guess it.
This is so complicated.
As the biggest predator on the planet, sperm whales have no business getting bullied by anyone. Yet, you can find reports of false killer whales running up on sperm whales the same way pilots do to orcas. Even back in the 90s, scientists somehow witnessed a group of sperm whales in the Galapagos get ambushed by a gang of 25 falsies.
Wow. The way he says it. It's like, does give me gang vibes. That's so funny. It's also weird. I guess maybe what it is like because the humpbacks have like that natural reaction to orcas, maybe they give a lot of grief to falsies, if you will.
Interestingly, 15 bottlenose dolphins. I told you they were tiny, but it was likely a bluff that didn't accomplish any real damage. which isn't always the case. There is one animal with the audacity to hunt modern-day Leviathan, but at this point it should be no surprise. Orcas are ocean Stan Lee. They pop up everywhere.
That tracks.
They usually avoid each other.
Look at those scratches.
Plus-size predators working as a wolf pack will target the young, sick, or isolated, but orcas predictably can get bold about it. Back in 1997, 35 killer whales attacked a pod of 9 sperm whales, resulting in a 4-hour onslaught that left every sperm whale injured and 1 dead. 20 years later, a pod of 8 killer whales ran up on a group of 100 sperm whales off Sri Lanka.
That's crazy.
Nobody died, but the audacity was nearly fatal, especially since sperm whales, for whatever reason, don't really fight back. Their main defense is to get into a formation called a rosette, with the weak put in the middle. There's that, and serving a poop slushy at orcas, since real-life mobies will also use a cloud of diarrhea as a fence. This bowel bath bomb is sometimes enough to save their lives. But it also means orcas have the ocean's biggest predators soiling themselves by the metric ton. But it seems there's one predator orcas won't hunt, and it's the most successful and most destructive one of it's us.
Human beings.
Outside of a glorified fishbowl, orcas have never been known to kill a human, or at least never been caught doing it. In fact, not too long ago, there was a time where humans hunted alongside orcas, with the two working together in New South Wales, Australia. Basically, the orcas would herd the whales to shore and then alert the whalers with a tail slap, and the law of tongue meant the orcas were entitled to the lips and tongue of anything they helped you kill. Even today, a wild orca is less likely to feed on you than just feed you. For as long as we've known them, humans have been on the orca whitelist, and that might just be changing.
Crazy.
You see, orcas are intelligent enough to have different cultures and trends. Like
that's
one orca
fascinating.
wore a salmon as a hat, and within a week had the whole pod doing it. And a recent orca trend involved sinking yachts. It started in 2020 with a pod ramming.
I think I love their little fish hats. That's amazing. Yeah, because they have the different languages too. That is fascinating how intelligent they are. Wow.
Eventually downing a 50-foot yacht off Geographic.
I like that we're friends. Dude, that's so metal. That's so metal to have like an orca buddy helping you out. Oh man.
Since then, there have been over 700, again not a typo, I checked, of these attacks, and most of the real damage was to the ship's rudders. Mind
you know what happened? You know what I bet happened? I bet a boat flipped orcas, like yachts, just obnoxiously. You know what I mean? Kind of like how like manatees get messed up a lot by boats. And they were like, we're done with these yachts. Like this particular culture of orcas got together, communicated, and we're like, we ain't taking this no more. These obnoxious boats, like we're taking them out. And I'm here for it, honestly.
Attacks lasted over 2 hours. So
even
like
even the orcas are pissed at the rich now. You know what I mean? They're over it.
Also, while researching, I realized there's more than one case of killer whales failing a hunt, only to then target the boat of the researchers watching it happen out of spite. So whatever orcas cooking, I have my theories. One is that orcas are treating hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of vessels as toys, and all it would take is one orca messing with a boat for fun and telling his homies for a new trend to hit humanity.
Yeah.
Or it could be revenge. All that would take is one orca having a bad experience with a boat for the whole family to slide, fueled by generational rage. Especially if it happened to a grandmother, because you know the moment she brought it to the pod, it'd be up for everyone. In fact, chances are, they teach this same behavior to their young. There's a lot we still don't know about the ocean, and all the nonsense that happens in it. But one thing I'll say every time I speak on anything dolphin is that animals aren't good. Animals aren't evil. They're just animals. Animals just trying to make it to the next day any way they can.
Hey, buddy.
It's not orca's fault, they're just that much better at it. Simply a skill issue for everyone else. I'm gonna keep saying it as long as there's people on Twitter saying
that's crazy.
So probably forever. But until then,
some of those clips, man.
If you see an orca, apologize. Doesn't matter what for, just do it. Support the whales, call your father, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Wow, I loved this video. This was so good. Oh no, they're freaking out. Wow, what an experience that would be. Amazing video. I never thought about how intelligent. I knew like dolphins are really smart. The whales and all these sea mammals, I know they have like mega brain size and all that. Very interesting. Own languages, own internal cultures. Wow. I'm blown away. Some of those clips were crazy. Something like seals like blasting away and stuff. Love that. That was one of my favorite animal videos I've watched in a while. Let's go. That was a good time. That being said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm just like blown away. That was great. If you enjoyed, check me out on Twitch, give me a follow on sub on stuff on YouTube. You guys know the deal. Thank you so much for supporting, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I really need like outro music or something.